What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bri2J Presents. I'm your host, Bri2J, and today I'm presenting to you the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective Mezco exclusive John Wick. I heard there's a lot of controversy surrounding this figure. Let's open it up and find out. So where do I begin with Mr. Wick? Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. I'm going to just flat out say that I absolutely love this figure. Sure, there's a couple of gripes. We'll get into that in a little while. But for the most part, I don't see what all the fuss was about online. Bad lighting can cause bad pictures. I know it's kind of funny because my lighting for my videos for all this time has never really been great. But in reality, bad lighting can cause bad pictures, which can cause a distaste. And that's the thing about Mezco. They're better in hand. And I've been saying that for years, ever since my first one in 2016. They're better in hand. I'm going to get the small gripe out of the way, but it's something that is really expected at this point. He's not on the glorious Gomez body. I mean, we all know the Gomez body is the perfect buck for a figure like this. A martial artist, a trained assassin. You want something where he's more posable. And I understand the grievances and the dislike. But once you have this figure in hand, I mean, come on. It's John Wick, and it's one of the better ones. I know Diamond Select has a couple of John Wicks on the way, and I really, really want those because I'm also a big John Wick fan. Especially super excited today hearing the news that 4 is being filmed back to back with 5. That just blows my mind. So the biggest gripe is that this is the Joker body, or the non-hero body, as I was told at Toy Fair. So Joker, Netflix Punisher, Netflix Vigilante Daredevil are all going to share this body type. This is also the Doctor Strange body. But it works. Forget about all the negative stuff you've seen online. If you have it on order, just, you're going to like it in person. And I'm seeing more and more positive on Facebook now, and all the groups saying that this figure is better than what was shown. And let me explain something. So at New York Toy Fair, the prototype is not going to be what's final at all times. That face sculpt was great, yes. This one is kind of soft, sure. But we've seen soft sculpts in the past. The Ghostbusters, Tom Holland, I want to say a Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck. Who else am I missing? Thor was okay. I'm sure there's a few more. Oh yeah, Netflix Punisher. So the head sculpts, or the face sculpts rather, are there. They're just softer, and you deal with it, and some are better than others. This is the default head that came with John Wick in package, and I think the likeness is there, more so at certain angles. It is on the softer side, of course. Now, another thing I've been seeing online, the thing about the hairline. Now, first off, this is how Keanu Reeves looked in the movie. The hairline was not that, in his face. This was his slick back look in the start of the film. But I think they went with the slick back look from the start of part 1 rather than 2, even though this figure is based off the catacomb scene in part 2. And we'll get more into that later. So this is John Wick out of the packaging, and I have him holding his Glock 26, which was one of the guns he was shopping for in the hotel in Italy. And for a single jointed character with the so-called evil shoulder pads for the suit jacket, I think he holds the gun really well. So there's that. And the other thing about the primary head, or the default head, whatever, he was unbruised and his hair was slicked back for maybe 10 minutes in that movie. So I don't know why people are flipping out and whatever. Let's be honest. John Wick always gets roughed up. So why is he going to be like this for every time you pose your figure around? You're going to want to use the alternate head. We'll get more into that alternate head when I talk accessories. But meanwhile, let me take the gun out of his hand. And show you some of the tailoring. Show you more of the face. And then I will get into articulation. I'm going to actually do articulation twice. One with the jacket on, one with the jacket off. And I will show you the inner shoulder pads of evil that people seem to want to complain about. So here is John Wick up close. And you can see it looks like him, sort of. Yes, it's not great, but I do see it on certain angles. And it's, I mean, pretty rad for what it is, you know? So next up is the jacket. I think the tailoring on this jacket looks fantastic, despite the so-called shoulder pads of evil, which you could see kind of right here and here. Stitch work is nice. The pockets are glued down. So is the one on the top here. As for the vest, I think the vest came out really nice as well. It's stitched down. The tie, now, the thing about the tie, okay, I know a lot of people are complaining, well, they got the, you know, Toy Fair exclusive gold mez tie perfect, so why is this not blah, blah, blah? All right, there's one solution. I'm going to show you this right now. If you have a pair of tweezers, which I do right here, you want to get your tie semi-perfect. Just take them and bunch the knot right about here and lift up. You might have to do it twice and hold down. And the tie looks a little bit better than it did when it came out of the packaging. At least it looks better. This is not perfect right now because I'm doing it on camera. But if you take tweezers and you just kind of mess with it, you can get it to your liking. So sure, it's something that we shouldn't be, you know, have to be doing, but we do it and we make it look good. And the tie is going to get out of place a lot because you're going to pose your figure around a lot. I think the pin for the tie came up pretty cool. It's not a real pin. It's just like pieces of plastic on the right and the left. I think the belt came out really good. Nice and shiny. Nice silver paintwork. Mine shifts a little bit, but I've been posing the hell out of this guy, so it's, you know, totally understandable. The pants came out really nice as well. The nice shiny black shoes. And then black socks. On every hand, you're going to get John's wedding ring. Painted really nicely. So that every left hand is going to have the silver ring just showing really nicely. Here's the back of the figure. You can see the shoulder pads a little bit, but I've kind of grown over it. And again, just the back of the figure is the back of a suit. So first I'm going to show you the articulation with the jacket on, and then a little while later when I talk about the shirt underneath and show you more of the vest, and the shoulder pads of evil, I will show you the articulation with the jacket off. Cool? Cool. All right, so the articulation, it's the Joker body, or the standard non-superhero body. It's the head and neck are all one ball peg piece here, right? So just like that. Can look down really far, back pretty far, tilt. You can kind of have them be expressive, and that's cool. Now, everybody that I've talked to in the negative realm of things have said that the shoulder pads, and I'm going to say of quote evil, causes the articulation to not really be well with the movement of the arms. It's a kind of a yes and no. You can lift them up pretty far. It's just going to look a little wonky. All right. So that's kind of an issue, but not really, not enough for me to care. And then, I mean, movement is going to be a little bit more restrictive when moving the arms up and down. But as you can see from the start of the video, he was holding the gun really nicely, and that's with these evil shoulder pads, okay? Sadly, no bicep swivel, but he does have a rotation at the top of the elbow, single jointed elbows, which we're used to with this kind of body. He does have a hinge and swivel at the wrist. He does have torso pivot, as well as a decent amount of crunch. Back not really. Waist swivel. Splits only there because you don't want to rip the pants. Kicks out to there. Back like there. Double jointed knees. I forgot to talk about the thigh swivel. And a decent ankle pivot and up and down. So yeah, he has a decent amount of articulation for this body, even though he has a suit on, and that's one of the things that people were complaining about, like, oh, the shoulder pads. It's like, no, just play with your figure. Don't play with him once. Loosen him up. He'll be fine. So the first batch of accessories I'm going to talk about is the swappable parts. And the first swappable part I'm going to show you is the alternate head. Now, here is John Wick, all beat up and bruised and bloody, hair in the face, and honestly, this is going to be the head that I use all the time, because he looked like this for all of maybe 10 minutes in that scene in the middle of part 2. Okay? I've seen part 2 a lot, and I can quote the movie. So, everybody complaining about this. Meanwhile, everybody's probably going to pose him like this. Right now, I'm going to swap the head. Simple little swap. Goes a long way. And there he is, looking all beat up. And I think this looks really good. People complain because there's a weird, like, you know, teeth grit going on there. It's barely noticeable. And honestly, this looks the most like Keanu Reeves to me. Between the two. And this just has that John Wick feel. And I really honestly like this a lot. Now, for the hands, you get a total of 10 hands, right? So 5 for each side. And every left hand is going to show you the wedding ring, which I think is a great, thing for Mezco to do, because that the ring was his bond, and I don't have to explain the whole movie, but again, this is the larger gun holding hand, or more like the grip hand for guns, and I think that looks really good. Next up, we're gonna have the regular default fist that comes on the box. So this is the one that comes with him when he's in the box. And, for a regular fist, it looks fine. You have this hand here. It's kind of like a choking, grabbing, throwing hand. You have a karate chop, because, John Wick's a martial artist. And then, lastly, you have the left trigger finger. As for the right hands, I have the right trigger finger on him right now. And then, of course, you get a fist. You get a knife holding hand, or if you can get a pencil to mimic that scene too. It doesn't come with a pencil. I'm sorry, guys. We all knew that was not going to be a thing. He does have a combat knife, which I'll show you in a little while, but you can use it for this. You have a open throwing, like a throwing hand, grabbing hand, whatever, kind of relaxed or semi-relaxed. And then lastly, for hands, you have this knuckle palm punch thing, and that's pretty cool as well. So John Wick comes with a lot of guns, so I'm actually going to divide this in half. And the reason why I say that is because a select few guns are pretty much from chapter 1, and then he comes with guns from chapter 2. So here's the gun at the start of the video, and I am mistaken. This is not the 26. This is the Glock 34 that he uses from that scene in the catacombs. So I do apologize. I'm not a gun guy. I actually had to Google select things, but I also know other things from the movie itself. So here is the Glock 34, and this has the removable mag that we all love. And you can see the bullet there, slides right in, nice tight fit, nothing sliding back, but we're used to that with Glocks for Mezco. It does have some nice sculpt work. I know a lot of people online were complaining about the guns looking like Hasbro Marvel Legends, and I'm just like, not even close. So this looks pretty good. There's a little bit of paint there, and then a little bit of paint there and there. So yeah, you can see the paint work at the slide and right here. Nice texture, nice sculpt. So I think this looks really good. Next up for weapons, we're going to go with the Benelli M4 shotgun. The textured grip, so his hands do not get wet, as quoted by the handler. This looks really good. And then you have the shell casing right here. Now, a lot of people online were flipping out that this does not have pump action. Go to the source material first before complaining about a gun. This does not have pump action in real life. And if you go back, and you can even just Google the scene on YouTube, okay? Go on YouTube and type in John Wick Chapter 2 Catacombs. He never once pumps this. Okay, so before everybody gets all complaining about it, this gun does not pump. Okay, there's my disclaimer. Looks nice. So again, the shell casing and the paint for the slide there. And I honestly think this looks really good. In fact, I'm going to put this in his hand right now so you can see this. And I think when I talk about the guns from here on, well, at least from the next two guns, this and the next one, you're going to see what I'm talking about him being able to hold weapons. So again, here is the grip, and once you play with your figure, you'll see that you can actually get him to do things that you were too easily complainable about in the beginning. So here is John Wick holding the Benelli, and I honestly think this looks great. So okay, I have no issues here. Next gun. I'm keeping with the Benelli right now. The next gun is the AR-15. And I honestly think this looks good. A lot of nice sculpt work here. A lot of nice detail. It's missing the mag on purpose because he comes with two, and he comes with this clip which holds the two mags together. Okay, and if you go back and watch the scene in the movie, this is so he can easily, when that clip is done, swap for easy reload. And I honestly really like this as well. I'm going to take the shotgun out and show you what it looks like holding the AR-15. So here he is holding the AR. Just got to finagle it a little bit, and you can get it to work. So here he is holding the AR-15, and I honestly think this looks really good as well. So again, for something like this, the single joints and the shoulder pads, it's not an issue for me. I think this looks fine. We're going to keep him with that gun here. One thing I forgot to mention, for the Glock, you get a spare mag with the same paintwork for the bullet. So yeah, spare mag for the Glock 34. I know I said I was going to show you the guns from Chapter 1, and I will. Just give me a second. I promise. They're there. But I'm going to show you the chest from chapter 1 first. Now, this looks awesome. You can see the wood grain and the rivets and the like kind of gunmetal and the rust and cement and whatever all over. The handles are not sculpted. They're a separate piece on. The backside looks pretty good as well. So all around sculpted, really, really nice, beautiful paintwork, nice detail. So why is this important? Well, if you've seen John Wick, you know that when he sledgehammered the floor in his basement, he unveiled his old life. And his entire old life was in this trunk. So basically what you want to do is you want to kind of push this back a little and then carefully lift it so you don't break anything. And in here is his old life. I'm not going to take these out. Maybe I'll take out the coin to show you because there's a little bit of sculpt that I can't show you from being in here. But you can see he has 2 Glocks, 2 other guns, a spare mag for each, a knife, and 4 smoke slash, flash grenades or whatever. And they all fit pretty snug in here. And it's really, really nicely done. Now, you can see from the top of the mags the paintwork for the bullet. The one gripe I have with these weapons, you cannot remove the mags from any of these 4 guns. It's kind of a, well, what the hell, Mezco, thing. But at the same point, I don't think I'm ever taking these out, because if you go back to the source material, this is absolutely perfect. This is how it looks when he takes the trunk out and opens it up. It's exactly this. I rewatched the clip on YouTube last night, and it's perfect. Okay, now underneath is gun storage for the larger weapons. I'm not going to show you that because I don't want to lose anything, because these are pretty tight in here, and that's the one flaw. But it's cool. I will show you the coins. So you have 12 sets. None of them are loose. They're all separate. It would have been cool to have like a marker or a single coin, but the fact that we got the stacks of coins, I don't know if it's showing, but there's a symbol there and a symbol there. So these are this is the currency he uses to do the gun shopping, to do the cleanup, to do pretty much anything John Wick related. So I think this looks pretty fantastic. So those are the smaller weapons from John Wick Chapter 1. And then one last gun here. You might recognize it as the shotgun that he used in the scene where he yells out, I'm thinking I'm back. And this does have a pump, okay? Because this model is designed to be that way. And that model is called, and I had to look it up on Google, it's called a Kohari Arms CA415. It's a semi-automatic shotgun, from what I believe. And this is the... I haven't played Call of Duty in such a long time. I forget the name of the scope. But this looks really good. And really nice sculpt work. There's some gunmetal gray. And this honestly looks really fantastic. And the question is, can he hold it? Because I've been showing you guys weapons in his hands. Take his AR out. Probably need a different hand for the left side, but honestly, this looks really, really good. And actually, no, this is the proper hand. So this looks really good as well. So John can actually do all the John Wick stuff that he should be able to do. And then lastly, for weapon accessories, there's blast effects. So you have 4 this time. You have the traditional, we've seen it a million times before, Move John out of the way so this thing can focus. The regular bullet effect. We have the shotgun blast effect, which we got last year with Gomez and Blade at Toy Fair. Next up we have the trifecta triple bullet effect, and they all fit snugly into the guns too, and that's something I forgot to demonstrate, but here, like, there he is firing that, and this looks pretty rad. And then we got this new one which we've never seen before, and that's this one right here. Move John out of the way again so this thing could focus. Here's a brand new one, which is kind of like a single blast shotgun, or I want to say this could also be for the AR-15 as well. So the last two accessories that I'm going to talk about are, one, his wristwatch, which I think this looks pretty fantastic. Some nice silver and white paintwork, and this looks really fancy and very John Wick. And then I really can't call it an accessory because it's dog. So dog is a static piece. There's no articulation, which is kind of a bummer. I kind of wish the head turned, but you know, it's whatever. The chest hair there, and they even sculpted proper dog. So this looks really good. You know, this looks pretty fantastic actually. You can actually see like the sculpted fur, and the collar looks really good. So yeah, this is dog. And then of course, 4 accessories that we know about that's traditional with Mezco: the 112 collective Ziploc bag, the display base, this one having the John Wick 2 logo, and then, you know, you guys already know this pops out because you have the little stand here that you just take a Phillips head to and, you know, loosen and tighten to your liking. Articulated here, 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 here. You know, we've had these, we know what they're like. So that's cool if you want to have like John like jumping and punching or whatever. I'm probably never going to use mine, but yeah, it's cool that we get that as well. And now, as promised, the articulation without the jacket. Here's what he looks like without the jacket. I'm never going to display him this way because he never wore just the vest. So better look at the vest though, with the fake pockets, the collar. You can see the tie a little bit better, I think. I adjusted mine with a tweezer again off camera just to give you a better representation of John Wick, or, you know, presentation for the figure. I really dig this color blue. This is a nice shirt, done really nice. Back of the vest, really not much more to talk about with that. Same head and neck articulation, of course. The arms can go up that much, and as you saw with the jacket earlier on, it goes up this way. I've managed to get it that way up, or at least pretty close. Little bit more range going up, but not by much. Back, but not by much. Swivel, but not that by much. And then the waist and the, you know, torso and everything else is going to be the same. And here's just a quick look at the shoulder pads inside the jacket. Just pieces of cotton kind of glued in. Some people have taken them out. I'm probably going to leave them in. I don't want to mess with this jacket. You know, it's an expensive figure. I don't want to risk damaging anything, and, you know, it's pricey. So that's the jacket. And really, the jacket doesn't look half bad. So, alright guys, I'm about to wrap up here. I do apologize for the length of this video, as there was a lot to talk about with John Wick. And I also do apologize for my lengthy sort of hiatus from the channel. It's kind of what happens when you're a father of twins during an apocalypse. So, and because they don't come with an instruction manual or an on-off switch. In fact, I think I'm probably gonna have to feed one in a minute. So thank you again for watching this and listening to me babble. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And to those of you that have stuck around all this time, I really appreciate you guys. You could, of course, follow me on social media at Bri2J Presents on Instagram. I am on Twitter at Bri2J. Bri_2J on Twitter. You can't change that, which is kind of a bummer. You can, of course, follow me on Friday nights on the Inner City Geeks podcast. We are live under the Steven Salvador YouTube channel. I'll be on there tomorrow night at 9:30-ish, talking about everything else, because there's a lot to discuss. And the video will be eventually on Bri2JPresents.com. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up for me. Oh yeah, the podcast will be on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, and of course Spotify, within the next couple of days. I think it goes up on Monday on those. So thanks again, and I will see you guys whenever the next one is, as there's a lot of toys on my catalog to review. Have a good night, as it's 2 a.m. here on a Thursday night at 2 a.m. And I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.